Good to have you. This is still the morning show here on Signature TV. So we switch gears to some other discussions that is quite, of course, I'm sure is predictable, given the inauguration of the leader of the free world as a new sheriff in town. What he would do in 1 week, at least we're beginning to see it, because on the first day of his assumption of office, there were 10 bills that were signed. And it's unprecedented. There are still more things that will happen in another week or another month or in another quarter. We have with us live in the studio to talk about this and even the visits of Tinubu in Enugu a little later is Mazi Ukwu. Good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How do you do, sir?
Much. Thank you. Happy New Year once more.
Happy New Year to you, sir.
Yes.
I think I missed one of your names.
Ukwu
Daniel.
Nkemakolam.
Okay, Ukwu Daniel Nkemakolam.
Yes.
That's your name. Good to have you once again.
Thank you, Charles.
Okay, so I'm sure you watched President Donald Trump's inaugural speech.
Yeah.
And his speech, I mean, there are so many layers to that speech. Some were personal, some were, giving the jabs at the Joe Biden's administration that just ended. But in a broader scale, how do you, assess that inaugural speech?
Well, I told you that my core area is about leadership. So I took personal interest in that. I will summarize him like he's a man who is prepared for the job. He's well prepared. And then, like him, hate him, he's prepared for the job. And then we are talking about, and I think come across 14 things he has issued.
Okay, I stopped at 10.
It's
Executive orders.
Yes, I think he's well prepared. He's well prepared. And he has summarized everything that needs to be said. He talks about so many things, summarized. In short, I don't think he left anything behind.
I mean, there are issues with his policies on immigration. There are issues with his policies on male and female. I mean, I'm not sure I've ever heard any inaugural speech having to have the president announce that the American government recognize only male and female.
Yes, because we have a culture that after some time something becomes part of the system. They call it transgender, and then you see, it's a fake life. So, and then God has created this word, male. It's either you're a man or you're a woman. You can't be say you're transgender. It's part of that rubbish that that's why, as far as I'm concerned, I think well, let's say it's God sent. Whether I don't know how people will look at it, but for me, it has started on a very good note. And these are the key issues. What is transgender? That's a woman trans. No. You see, we have to follow. You see, God has created this word and made it. He has created two things along the line: positive, negative, day and night. It's two opposites, Christian, Muslim. So for you to come in between, yes, there must be something in between, but you shouldn't be recognized. He saw it as an issue, and that's why he was saying that he said it's either a sex issue, it's either you're a man or you're a woman, and you can't be in between. Does God create in between? No. So that's why he was specific. And then he talked about this birthright. So many people rush to America it's not just when you go there, you become for the fact you are born there. You see, I think he's addressing most of because most people are abusing that privilege, and then they will go there and then come to like a place like Africa and start causing confusion because they know that they have a home. But somebody made that home. Somebody made America. So I think people are taking undue advantage of that privilege or provision. So that's why, in short, he talked about so many things. I think even this Ukraine and Russian war, you see how he was able to. And you see, that's why leadership is a very key. Because something you can put phone across, my friend, what is happening? I beg, can you play down? And then before you know it. And he's saying that, he told them that America is not going to support Ukraine financially again. So I think he summarized everything. I don't see what is left. I talked about Israel, and then I'm sure that man is I don't know. And he was talking about avoiding third world war, and I think he's also right.
Well, what do you think is his posturing for the African continent? Like, I mean, we've seen his first term. His first term really didn't do so much for Africa. At some point, in fact, he referred to Africa as I don't want to use the word that he used, but you know the word that he used at the time. But this second coming, given that he has said he's going to, put America first in whatever economic policies or maybe engagement as he's having with other governments, he has even proposed a tariff on products coming in from Canada, Mexico, China. Of course, he also added some caveats to it. So for Africa, really, it's not clear, basically. Nobody can say, oh, you know what, Trump is going to do this for Africa, towards Africa, or against Africa.
Well, I think he didn't want to put issue of Africa in front of this is no great, but I'm sure that because you know that he also understands what is going on in Africa. He also understands that African leaders are our problem, and then he also understands that most of this migration that is is coming to America is part of our leadership failure. So I think he's coming to address it, but he doesn't want to put it. He's talking about American interests first. It's only when charity begins at home, when he secures America, then he can. I'm sure he's well loaded for Africa, but I don't think he didn't want to put it in front of those. So that's why I read something. Somebody Akinyemi was advising Tinubu not to be confrontational to Trump, because Trump is going to be very confrontational. He's coming. He has not said what is in mind, and you know what he. And then because he discovered that our leaders are our greatest problem. I think he's coming. I think it's one of his agenda, but he refused not to talk about it.
Tinubu had visited Enugu some weeks back, and people, just like as he mentioned, that Trump had said everything that needed to be said during his inaugural speech. When Tinubu visited Enugu State, people had this opinion that he didn't touch some important issues. He just came, it was a ceremonial event and the rest of it. So I want to get your idea, how significant is this visit to Enugu State as a whole?
Well, if you ask my opinion, it's very significant because this is the first state he's visiting in the southeast on official capacity. Is it? I hope I'm right.
Yes.
So, and then his visit, and also I believe that if you also ask my opinion, I think Mba has also done well, and I would liken what Mba did like what Solomon did in the Bible. I think Mba is working towards excellency in his and you discover that if you're a student of Bible, you discover that Solomon did something like that, and also it attracted people to come, even Queen of to come and know what is happening. So, and they found out that Mba has done he has done well so far, but where I'm having problem that he promised that water should be in the household within 80 days. And Enugu is so vast that yes, he delivered water, but water has not got into every household in Enugu State. And I know some people who are still crying. So, but in the area of education, I think he did excellently. That I think that he also showed that other state governors should come and emulate what Mba is doing, because he said that this time it's not one thing about, and if you watch why American politics is very outstanding. You see, when it comes to American interests, they don't compromise it. You see both of them are, but during this And you see how the election started within space of time, within everything, inauguration, and you see the team spirit, the understanding. You see, that's one thing that excites me about America. They all just drop their individual differences and then believe in America. It's only the only person that I just voted was Obama's wife. That I think he's been emotional. That's why he felt that he couldn't go. Otherwise, he found out that every other key person that matters, forget her. Trump didn't attend Biden's. And then this time around, he didn't want to say this. You see, and they even. In short, those guys are too much. They even driven a motorcade to the ceremony. It can't happen in Africa now. I think because all this we are doing is American politics. So how can we? You see, they didn't spend so much going to court, going to do the rubbish themselves.
See, these things have its own story. I mean, some persons will say, well, Trump is eating his cake and is having it. The reason is, if, for instance, this had happened in Africa, I mean, you saw what happened. He actually called for his supporters to attack the Capitol. And then he didn't even attend the so-called Trump's inauguration. Biden's inauguration in 2020. Because there was no fair transition of power. There was no smooth transition of power. Somebody would say, look, this is my own turn to revenge. I mean, because it's now looking like he's a strong man with all of these that happened. You are sending a signal to somebody else, maybe in the nearest future, that if I, as a president, lose an election, I can decide to, channel my supporters or ask my supporters to go and attack the Capitol for those who are going to make sure that they ratify his presidency at the Capitol then in 2021. So it's neither here nor there. You can't say, oh, because but Joe Biden didn't do it. I mean, he had the chance to do it. He had the chance to say, you know what, I'm not going to attend this inauguration, revenging what he did in 2021. So you cannot say, be in that state and then promoting what he did because it's okay. Nobody can come in and say, look, I'm going to do the same thing that Trump did.
See, nobody's saying it's okay. But, it's emotion. Your emotion drives what you do. So if you are driven by emotion, there are there are two set of people in the whole world, reactive people and proactive people. The reactive people want to react to anything that you did. But the proactive people will now say, no. Please, that's bygone. So I think Biden was matured enough to say this is a gun issue. So he didn't want to be emotional, whether this thing, yeah, and that's why character is very, yes, plus or minus. Donald Trump also has his own character problem, so you can't take it away from him. But character is everything. But then they decide maybe Biden decided to keep all those things behind because they were talking about American interests, future about America. So
we also had American interests in 2021. I mean, he had the opportunity to make sure that
that one is individual differences now. How you react to issue is not the same. Something may happen. You may decide to take rational issue. I may say, okay, please let's it's a personal thing.
So does it make any of them stronger than the other?
It doesn't make. Sincerely, it doesn't make.
So what do we learn from such attitude, especially from a person who has returned to power?
That life is give and take. There is no perfection. If you ask me, life is give and take. There's no perfection, and if you can't forgive. You see, that's what is holding us down in this part of the world. Some people cannot forgive, and that's why Tinubu visit to Enugu was a bit exceptional because in this part of the world, the Southeast is not being regarded as part of Nigeria as far as I'm concerned. They just see Southeast as a minority, and then. So I think when Tinubu came, what he saw, I think he impressed him, and then he was talking about, because you see, you can only give what you have, And I think Mba started very well, and I wish he will continue with that pace and then see how he can, because he actually transformed Enugu. You know, one thing about leadership is like, if you also, before you can say you transform a system, it will start from you first. You have to transform yourself and then transform your personal life before you can talk about the larger society. And then when it comes to the larger society, you also try to preach to them, because you are the one that see. You see, there's one thing about leadership, it's about the picture. What is the picture? Because it's only you that is seen as a leader, you seen the picture you want to paint before you leave the stage. Do you understand? So I think, and that's where we are still having problem, at least at federal level, because none of our leaders have come in recent time and said this is the picture of Nigeria in the next 30 years, this is the picture of in the next 20, in the next 10 years, this is they'll just be reacting to issue tax reform, all this one. It's not a leadership issue. Leadership issue has to do, give people vision. What do you think? The picture, because people learn more when they see picture than when they say this is how you want the country to be in the next 30 years, in the next 20 years. You might not be there when those things will happen, but you give people so that they will now know where you are going. And that's what they are not doing. Because it's just like when you want to build a house, you have to design the type how it will look like. So most of our leaders have not come to that level. That is what the new Nigeria you want to see. It's like a dream. This is where we are going to. So, but I think Mba has done very well, because the good thing he has done about this, I'm so much impressed with this smart school issue, because you find out that public school has been relegated to the background in this part of the world. Because if you watch out, those people that attend public school is those less privileged, those housemaids, this and otherwise but with this smart school issue, I think he's trying to. In short, I think that's the best thing he can do for any. That's the best legacy, and I believe it will be sustained. Because that's in this part of the world, another government may come and say what is smart school, and before you know it, they will start. But we hope that it will be sustained. Because the fruit, what he's doing today, this smart school issue, in the 10 years, because he's trying to transform people. Because I've been to some of this, and having, in short, that's the greatest thing you can do for this. And I believe that other states should also have this smart school, even not exactly, but because you need to transform people.
Are the smart schools fully functional now?
Yes, I think some that have been started. It's talking about 260, and that's now I think they said it's 30 that. But somebody was talking about what happened in Ukwu. But why he cannot take the president to Ukwu is just because of the distance. Because I believe that's where the former everything was. I've not been there, but I believe because the one I went to, this former GTC, I think it's a bit impressive, because you need to transform people's mentalities, because life is about people. Because no matter what you do, it's people that will sustain that's what you put in place.
Right. I mean, see, some persons have also criticized that smart school. I mean, you're building 260 smart schools across 260 wards of the state. Some persons have not eaten. Some persons are lacking in basic staple food. If you go to the market at Akwata, if you go to the market in Oji River, if you go to the market, downtown Nsukka, food prices are soaring. I mean, if we see such investments across board, specifically for what they're doing in education to do in agriculture, at least it is when somebody has finished eating that they are sane enough to go to school. If you don't actually have access to food, water, basic amenities, you can't go to school. I mean, even when you go to school, you'll be distracted. I mean, a hungry man, they say, is an angry man. And I'm not sure that so many persons can afford basic 3 square meal in Enugu today. I mean, they should be addressing that through agriculture, not smart school. What do you think about those who have that notion?
One thing about if you have been followed leadership in this part of the world, some of them, they not ask you your opinion. They give you what they want. even not only in government, it's everywhere. They will just, you see a leader will come on board. He's not trying to get what do people need. He just be dishing out what he feel that
it's good for them.
It's good. So it's
So
either,
are you saying that
it's either you like it or you don't like it.
Are you saying the smart school didn't have its engagement process? Because again, we didn't hear about that, even though it was in his campaign promise. But there was not a specific engagement with the people and saying whether they needed a smart school or not.
No. You find out that you see, that's why we have one-way traffic system, and which is not good enough. But you know one thing, when somebody comes on board, it's his name that is at stake. Do you understand? When, like now, Buruburu has the former governor has come and gone. Nobody remembers anything apart from what he does. So, is the leader, is his name that is at stake? You see, that's one thing that is not very common in this part of the world. They've not learned to ask or do what is there are this assessment when you are doing a project, you do the need and assessment, so that you know but this one, they will just plan it as if when they come, they will just give you what they like. If you like, accept. If you don't like, then you can be complaining. But one thing you should be sure that there's nothing you will do that people will not criticize. There's nothing you do, even if you laugh. People will say this one that is always laughing. There's this governor that's always dancing. Some people will not say this man is a serious person, but that's his own style. Do you understand? So the smart school might not be because you find out that also the gap or the distance between one smart school to another is also a challenge. So if you say, because there was a program we did in Imejo sometime, because I'm also involved in this school system, because at times we visit school, you discover they don't have toilet. Most of these young ladies, just like when she's teaching there, she will go to toilet in the bush, and then in this 21st century, it does happen in most schools. So and then if I know that, I would have believed that renovating some of these schools would have been a key issue, bringing them to a standard where they have, because what do they need is like they need qualified teachers, because that program we did at somewhere in Imezowa, if I know that they lack teachers, and then at times the villagers are even contributing to pay for the teachers, and if I know that the population was going down. So when we renovated that, it was U.S. Embassy that sponsored that program. If I know that the population increased from 80 something to 100, because everybody likes good thing now. Do you understand? So this smart school, my problem is the distance between one and another, but plus or minus is still good a plus to the educational sector, because number one is bringing a lot of qualified teachers, is bringing a hope. Have you been to any of these smart school? I believe it's bringing hope to public school.
Right.
It's bringing hope.
Let's talk about generally the visits of the president. There are several things that were said. One of them, of course, is the rail line across the southeast. The budget didn't have the rail lines. Southwest had, Northwest had. We don't have the rail lines working in Enugu, even across the southeast, and even south, except the one coming from Abuja to Itakbai, in Edo State also. So there's a clamor for that to happen, especially this 2025. Not just that, another critical issue that wasn't mentioned was the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Several persons thought that this was the best time to ask the president directly, look, what is happening with Nnamdi Kanu? The court had released him because of the rendition that happened by the federal government, not under his watch, but he is now the president. He can pardon him. He can ask him to go. He can prevail on the system to say, let this young man go, given what he has passed through, given the situation. But up until this moment, that person was not even brought forward.
You know one thing, Charles, I will tell you that our people, I don't know, is it because of fear or because even at times the way they address this issue, they see it as some group of criminals. You know, they will use, and each time I frown at it. This is the number one problem that we have. And then there's nothing that would have prevented him as a governor, and that would have given him a lot of credibility. That please, Mr. President, we are pleading that you should release Nnamdi Kanu. That even you know, they are not talking about the insecurity that is going in the southeast. Nobody is talking about. They are trying to paint picture that everything is correct, everything is okay, and then but you know either they are afraid or what to say. But I don't think that should be the issue now. Just like you said, please, sir, because he has everything. If he decides that tomorrow morning Nnamdi Kanu will be released, this is his prerogative as a president. Buhari had that had a right, but he failed to utilize it. Today he doesn't have that right again. So when you are leading people, and even without even somebody talking to the president, I think that would have been his major assignment, to say, please let them release Nnamdi Kanu. He would have won heart of so many people in the southeast, because he found out that so many people are capitalizing on this Nnamdi Kanu issue to commit atrocity. To you see how people are butchered, how people are. You know, I'm from Imo State, but it's a bit unfortunate what is going there. You know, in some places there are real war that is going on in this southeast. Real war. Forget we are here in Enugu here enjoying freedom. You can't even. Anyway, I won't talk about it. Okay,
I mean, we'll talk about it. So maybe when we get out of sets, because I mean, it's important that we highlight these issues. But Dan, I want to thank you so much for your insight. We truly appreciate your thoughts on the show this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a pleasure having me. And then, well, because God will not come from heaven to solve our problem. It's weird that you know, advocacy is one thing that is very key. Like when we did a project at this GTC, the building has been put down. We went there to do a program, and then the lady there called me that if it started raining, that they do. What do? We went to media, and then Guardian, they published a full report why GTC rust, Enugu State dilly-dally. That was the caption, and I'm sure the then governor must have read the article, because I understand that when there's a serious article, he will draw his attention. Then within 1 month or 2 months, the unfortunate thing that I've put that three buildings now, they went, and because some of these governors, some of these leaders you're accusing, they don't do, some of them are not aware what is going on. So the moment you bring some to their attention, they won't address it, and the credit goes to them. But you know, in this part of the world, we pretend that everything is well, and nobody wants to play the role of a good person. And then, you see, that's why advocacy is this your key. You people are playing a very key role. Provided, it's just like as I was coming from this way and I saw this your road, I said, whether TV, you should go and publicize it so that Mbao can repair this portion of road. Yes, because God will not come from heaven. Maybe he's not aware. I'm sure if you invite him to this program and coming to say, Commissioner, please, I want this road to be done. You know, I live in GRA. When it was this Atte's birthday, that was about, I think it was then the former governor came there. Before you know it, you know, this thing it's not, you just say, please, Commissioner, I want this road to be, and before you know it, it's done. So the more you talk and the more you bring problem to their hearing, and I believe some of them will respond. But most of the time we play, so everything is good, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good, but somebody has to solve a problem. Like this issue of Nnamdi Kanu is a problem. And then except somebody to, because the man is even aware, so there's no need telling me what, even if they didn't tell him, I think he would have been number one pronouncement, he would have said that. But nobody wants to talk about it, but it's a problem. It's whether you like it or not. You can't cover it and pretend that all is well. No, it's a problem and somebody must address it.
All right. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you very much.